I fly like paper, got high like planes. If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come round here, I make one on a time. Something ching chang, bang bang bang. Remember when that song was on the radio everywhere? Well, they named a cocktail after it because it was an earworm. It's the Paper Plane. It's a big request. I did a fantastic rendition of it just now. You cannot deny that. I'm gonna make a Paper Plane. This is like a cocktail. I think it's probably the most requested cocktail I get, the Paper Plane. People love this drink. It is a Sam Ross original. Sam Ross is a phenomenal bartender. Was the head bartender for a long time at, I think he's the head bartender. I think that's the term he would use. At Milk&Honey. That's where I met him. He wouldn't remember that. He just introduced me to the world of awesome cocktails and served me a left hand and blew my mind. Taught me about the importance of coils tightness on your Hawthorne strainer. Hence this bad boy. It was wet. It just shot water into my hair. He was a real advocate of jiggering is something else too. I made some statement about, oh, I think it's really cool that you use a jigger because I have to use a jigger. And he said, yeah, I'm not talented enough not to. Which was more of a dig at people who think that free pouring is something you can do accurately than a statement about his level of talent. I think it was more a statement of like, well, since I don't have actual micrometer eyes, as my father-in-law would say, I'm obligated to use a jigger like any normal mortal human. He invented this drink, the Paper Plane, while at Milk&Honey because of the song that was on the radio that summer all over the place. I am, of course, obligated to point out as a borderline Gen Xer that it's entirely based on a sample from The Clash, from the song Straight to Hell, which is a much weirder and more ethereal song. Straight to hell, boys. And what else can I say about this drink? Well, it's a variation on a Last Word, which is a cocktail we've done here. We've done a few variations on a Last Word, so it's gonna be equal parts. Typically, it's equal parts. As Sam Ross made it, it's equal parts. All right, you know what? We'll make it his way. The last time I tried one, I'm gonna just, full disclosure, last time I had a Paper Plane, I wasn't really blown away. It might just be that it's not my drink. I had the thought that I think I would prefer to rebalance the drink a little bit away from the Aperol. So rather than doing equal parts Aperol, maybe like a 1/4 ounce less Aperol, just because I felt like the bitterness was overpowering. I wasn't even getting the bourbon or the Nonino. But I know it's so popular and so many people love this drink and it's on so many menus and it's ubiquitous at this point that I am going to entertain the possibility that I was wrong and that I need to just make it standard fare again. And then we'll see. If I don't like it, maybe I'll make it twice in this episode. We'll see. I'm gonna start with an ounce of lemon juice. All right, that is a perfect pour. We're gonna try and be hyper accurate on this particular build because I think that it's possible the reason I thought the drink was out of balance is because I had like a heavy hand or something. We want 1 ounce of Amaro Nonino. I have read descriptions of this drink that say an Amaro. I think that that's not accurate. I think you really need to have the Nonino. I don't think there's a substitute for this. It's very orangey compared to a lot of other Amari that I've had, or other Amaro. It's like herbaceous and sugar, natural flavors, and caramel, color added. Color added? Come on. So on one level, yes, one Amaro could be swapped for another. You could put it in a Montenegro, you could put in, that's all the one that's coming to my mind for the moment. But I actually think that they're probably not that interchangeable, especially in something like this, where it's 4 things in balance. I would go for what the drink calls for here. That's to say that a different Amaro may yield a great result that is a very different drink. Let's leave it at that. Let's get 1 ounce of Aperol in there. I get that question a lot. What can I substitute this for? What can I substitute that for? The answer is a lot of times there's an answer that you can make this substitution, but you will be making a different drink. And so it'll be good, but I can't tell you that it's gonna be the same drink. There's a reason why I am and other bartenders are using the ingredients that they're using at any given moment. Like they taste a specific way. As I've learned, Kahlua can't be changed out for different coffee liqueurs. You know, Kahlua tastes like Kahlua. If you put in the wrong coffee liqueur, you're gonna make a bad White Russian. You can't necessarily swap Aperol for Campari. They're just different bitters. If you sat down and said that Amaro No Nino and Amaro Montenegro tasted the same, you'd be kidding yourself. They don't. So, do they occupy the same component of a cocktail? Yes. Are they gonna have the same flavor profile? Definitely not. I'm gonna use Buffalo Trace bourbon here. Much loved, very great value for the bourbon. Nice and spicy. 1 ounce of bourbon. That's the whole drink. We're gonna shake it now. Use my Dave Arnold ice configuration of 1 big and 1 cracked. I'm gonna serve this in a Nick and Nora. Here we have a paper plane. Let's give it a try. It's a bitter drink. Pleasingly, bracingly. The lemon, this is good. I like it a lot. All of a sudden I'm really liking this drink. So that lemon, and I think it's the Aperol or the Nonino, they kind of all really combine. And they activate taste buds for me that are really at the back of my throat and tongue in a really kind of, that bitterness, that astringent quality that just like dries out your mouth instantly, which is, it sounds unpleasant, but it's actually, if you allow that, if you open yourself to that, it's a really full sensory experience. You know, this drink is alive in your mouth in a way that very few drinks are. It's certainly not sweet at all. So if you're looking for that, it's the wrong drink for you. But if you're looking for something that'll like open your eyes and just, man, it's just like, and then you start salivating, you know, because of the bitterness. It's not overly bitter actually. I would say, I mean, to my taste, to me, this is less bitter than like a Jungle Bird or a Negroni by like an order of magnitude. So it's definitely nothing like that. It's just the right amount of bitterness. So maybe that's why I didn't like it the last time I had it. Maybe I wasn't really looking for something bitter that day. I wasn't in a bitter mood. And now that I'm in a headspace where I'm open to that experience, I'm enjoying this a lot more. It's a very refreshing drink. It's a good, like a lot of bitter drinks, it's a good hot weather drink. It is a good cool you down kind of drink, liquid air conditioning kind of drink. It's not like a meal drink. It's not a, it's not a liquid. It's not sweet. It's not sugar. It's not dessert. It is not tiki. It is, okay, so the flavor profile, let's go for it. Let's actually try to give some real tasting notes. Lemon, segue into the herbaceous root kind of bitter from the Aperol, and the Nonino, which I think what I'm tasting is like bitter orange peels, like dried Caracara or dried bergamot oranges or something like that are probably steeped in that. The bourbon, to be frank, is a little bit lost. I think that, so I was trying to find an answer as to Sam Ross's preferred bourbon here. I couldn't find it, so I don't know. I suspect, though, that this would be a drink for something like a Booker's. Maybe something cask strength, something with a real punch and a lot of flavor. But I don't know. It's just my guess, and I don't have a bottle to test it. I'm sorry. If you do test it, I'd love to hear your opinion on that. It's great. I would finish it if I could. I would. It is super delicious. There's a brief moment in its flavor profile where it hits a kind of almost fruity sweetness, but it lingers there in my mouth for a very short period of time. It's fleeting. It's just like you feel the taste kind of ramp up as flavor 1 is turning its volume up and flavor 2 is getting ready to hit, and when they combine for like a split second, very short period of time, all the taste buds in your mouth seem to activate at once, and you get something that is like this kind of strawberry acid fruit sweetness, but I wouldn't say it's sweet because there's like really not much sugar in this at all. The Nonino has a little, and maybe the Aperol has a little, and I guess there's the fructose, whatever's present in the lemon, but they're not particularly sweet fruit. For just a brief moment, fleeting moment, it's gone, and then like that first flavor has run its course in the flavor profile, and then it's on its downslide. It's very interesting to me, and maybe that's what's so cool about it. Maybe that's why it's so popular. It's one of the more interesting cocktails, deceptively simple, deceptively complex drinks. It's just 4 ingredients in equal parts, shaken well, properly aerated, and it just comes to life in your mouth in a way that is very surprising. I mentioned Sam Ross in the episode. Sam Ross was, of course, the head bartender at Milk&Honey, Sasha Petrosky's bar. Milk&Honey is sadly no longer with us, and more sadly, Sasha Petrosky is not. He was the impresario, the owner, the mastermind behind great bars like Milk&Honey and Little Branch and Middle Branch, and I think he was involved in Dutch Kills and a bunch that are escaping memory from me. In so many ways is just a really vital guy in the evolution of the Speakeasy thing that started happening in the 2000s, in the early 2000s. Taken from the earth far too young. Great tragedy. But this book, Sasha Petrosky Regarding Cocktails, is a fantastic book on cocktails. Has a lot of anecdotes and essays by people who knew him, and a lot of information about just preparing your bar, how the bar should be laid out, and then of course all of the recipes that would have been served at Milk&Honey. And if you know anything about Milk&Honey, if the name rings for you, you would know that it is. These are good recipes to have at your fingertips. And certainly the recipe for the paper plane that I got came from here. And it's a beautiful book, imprinted by Phaedon. I always like it when the publisher's name is bigger than the author's or the titles. I think that's a very interesting move from the publisher's point, but whatever. And so if you're interested in the cocktails from Milk&Honey, this book is a great book, and there's a link in my comments to pick it up on Amazon. And I will see you next week with some more cocktails on how to drink. I think the Clash.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm a big Clash fan. I like the Clash. I like Guns of Brixton, Straight to Hell Boys. I like Coca-Cola. I think that's probably my favorite Clash song. They call that the European sip.